This is the Michael Brighton Show. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show, and I'm joined with Udi Cohen, who is a pioneer in machine learning and security, and is actually very, very curious at the forefront of AI's potential. He's the CEO and co-founder of Vendict, which is a tech startup focused on reshaping the compliance landscape. So we're discussing a lot of things around AI and how to do it right. So, Udi, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So let's talk AI and doing it appropriately, because right now AI is taking over multiple different areas. Some people are even noticing their jobs are possibly at risk already, and it seems not so much new because it's been around for a while, but new in terms of people are really starting to feel the effects of it day to day. So, are there any initial things that you've noticed in terms of AI being done wrong? And how can we actually start to use it in the right way?
So I would like to think about it in two different directions. One of them is how can companies make the most of AI in terms of making sure that they use it to in the right way, in terms of making the most of that and improving their product and services and operation. This is one aspect. And maybe another aspect is the more social related concerns, as you mentioned, about people losing their jobs. So thinking about how can companies make the most of that, first of all, they need to make sure that they understand it. Okay? I don't think that companies will be able to survive without using AI for both for operation and also in the product, because it's such an important and powerful tool, and it is now so accessible that people need to make sure that they understand it and they know how to use it, and that they have the right culture in the organization to let other people in the organization, not necessarily the executive level, also be able to take the initiative without too much restrictions, and make sure that they improve. Also, it's important not to just add it as an add-on feature, but to really think how it can help to the core of the company. So this is on that, and how can companies can make the most of that, and I would love to get to more details if you're interested. On the other end, as you said, that about people losing jobs, and I think even a larger concern, at least the way I see it, is to see some of the things we already see with the social networks and AI used in the social networks, like polarization and depression that are skyrocketing since the introduction of social networks. One of the things that you see over there is fake news, and that it's more and more difficult to even agree on facts. And I think that with generative AI, where you can generate the facts that you want, or generate the fake certificates to the facts that you want to that you would like to establish, it will be much more. So I see a lot of dangerous in that area about polarization mainly.
I guess in a way, if you think about it, some of the problems that might seem small now, are they likely to get bigger in the future once AI gets more sophisticated and complicated?
Definitely, like in 5 years, people listening to this podcast will have no way to know whether it's me and you, two human beings that are recorded, or maybe it's two AI agents. It will be impossible to detect just by listening to the podcast.
That sounds frightening. Like the idea of potentially anyway, the whole content, media, entertainment version of this could all be done by AI and not necessarily humans. What does that say for our actual life experience then? If in 5 or 10 years everything can be generated versus created, what does that say about life and humans and how we interact with each other?
I believe it will still be the humans that will have the initiative, and they will be the ones to decide that there are to decide that they want two AI bots to generate a podcast like that. I don't think it will be like AI having intentions and this kind of thing you see in some movies. But still, the fact that you will not be able to identify truth from fake, and to identify the source of the information that you are watching, it will be more and more difficult. And in a way, I think it opens some questions that we don't really have answers for, and we should have answers for. I think this is the job of governments and regulators to make sure that we are to think about all the potential risks, and to make sure that we are protected from them.
Do you have any intuition about but what rules can we give it? What principles can we give it so that it doesn't tip over into negative and making things worse and possibly starting wars and all these things that we do currently as humans? If it gets worse, there'll be full-blown wars with other countries purely based on something that's been generated by an AI versus something that has been human created, for want of a better expression. What can we do to the AI to help with all this? Because it sounds like it's got a lot of potential for going wrong.
I think that the most important thing is about educating the people about those risks, and to be able to identify that, so that when people see something in the social media, they need to be aware and reminded all the time that this might not be true. They might see something that is completely false. And we already see it, this problem with fake news. So when some regulator want suspicious content in social network to be marked as fake, as a potential fake, but others say, yeah, but this is a problem against freedom of speech, right? You have this contention already. So I think, first of all, it's important that people will understand that they cannot rely on things that they are seeing. And certainly they can, even today, you see a lot of people that thinks that they can understand the world and how the world is working, and have some very firm thoughts about multiple topics just by finding some content in social media like TikTok or Facebook. And I think even today it's a problem that people are not aware of the fact that a lot of this information is not true, or have some intentions of the people that are publishing that. So I think it's important that people will be educated to always search for certified information by certified sources. It is important now, and it will be 10x more important 5 years from today, when you will be able to generate any content that you want.
How do you feel about AI yourself, Udi, in that when you're at the forefront of this and you're trying to look at the changes that you can make or the adjustments and improvements, do you ever think of the implications of it? Let's say, like right now, I'm imagining there are people that could discern between AI and not AI, but then there are people out there that can't, and they're having their world shaped by an artificial intelligence. Do you think of the consequences or the implications, or if I make this better in this way, what does that mean for the humans or the people?
So this is one of the main reasons why me and my co-founder founded Vendict, because at the end, we are in the area of GRC. GRC stands for Governance, Risk Management, and Compliance. It's the kind of technology that should help regulator making sure that they are able to enforce their regulations. Let's say, for example, GDPR and privacy in general. Today, I think more and more people understand why it is important. But at least at the beginning, it was very difficult to enforce, like to enforce technology-wise. How can a company that wants to be better in terms of privacy, how can they make sure that they are doing that? It's difficult to understand everything that the company is doing. And it is even more difficult to understand what your third parties are doing. Okay, let's say Facebook, for example, they share the personal information of their third parties with hundreds and thousands of third parties. It can be AWS that store the information. It can be Monday.com. It can be Slack, any tech provider. It can also be advisors and subcontractors. Many of them might have access to the third parties. To the personal information. So how can they make sure that their third parties will keep this information private as well? So this is the kind of problems that you really need very strong technology solutions just to let the regulator be able to enforce what they think is important for us as humans. So I don't think that I have the answers of what we as humans need to do in order to make sure that AI is used for the benefits of us as human and not just for the benefits of large technology companies. I think it's very difficult to have those answers, and it requires a lot of research of many smart people in the regulation area. It's not what I'm doing. What I am doing is once they decide what's the best thing to do, I want to make sure that they will have the tools to enforce it.
Does it ever feel a bit strange that we now have an AI that is governing another AI? It's almost like the only thing that can really keep up with an AI is itself almost. You've got like computers keeping up with computers because humans couldn't really process that much information as quickly because you've got social media, as you mentioned, you've got third parties, i.e., companies, entities that use the social networks for their own benefit, I guess you could say. That's a lot of information for people to process and make sense of and then be able to enforce the regulations. It's almost like it's got that complicated that AI is our only option.
I couldn't agree more. You have to fight fire with fire.
Did you ever think that that's something that if it gets any worse, like people are not going to be able to handle this? Humans are not going to be able to process this, not going to be able to do the work that they need to do. Because if you picture a situation where the AI side of things is fine, that's all sorted, it then becomes a people problem. Like if someone thinks that, I don't know, a video is real when it's not, there's only so much you can do about that. There's only so much that you can do from your side. The rest of it's about how it's being perceived and how it's being consumed. And then you've got the social elements of that. If they think it's real when it's not, what happens then? And eventually, these problems are going to become people problems and human problems.
It's already the case, right? You think about the instability in politics today vs 20 years ago. It's like 10x war. Think about the US, think about England. You have people are so polarized that they can not even speak. Like in many cases, people cannot even discuss if one is Democratic and the other one is Republican. In many cases, they cannot even, they don't agree on the facts because each one of them see other set of facts and have different perception of truth, and they cannot even agree on what is true. So if they don't agree on the fact, definitely they cannot agree on the thoughts about it and the standing and the morality. And you see it in many countries. And I believe it's also part of the reason that we see more wars and more tensions. It's just the ability of people to shape the minds of other people with the AI, with AI that is used in social media, for example.
That must only get worse or more intense, for want of a better expression, when you're including companies and corporations that are marketing, promoting, sharing their content to a degree, and it's making a strange case for actually using AI in that yes, it's better, but then there are all these things at the other end of the spectrum that need to be managed, that need to be governed, that need to be controlled in a way to prevent this thing getting worse. As you said, it's already becoming us humans not being able to get along. It's not necessarily the content's fault per se, but then you got a space where we still need to do more. There's still plenty that we need to do as a company, as a business, as an entity to make sure that we do our best for the people out there as well that are potentially consuming this or letting it shape their worldview. You know, people will watch a video and let that inform their entire worldview on that topic. It could be war, it could be education, it could be health, it could be any number of things. It shapes how they see the world, and then it's only going to make things worse when they're engaging with someone that hasn't seen that video. Just to make a very minor example there, it's almost like the responsibility goes up when the risks get higher. I'm really feeling like the responsibility and the morality and ethical considerations need to go up as well. Like you have to work harder to be able to manage all those things.
Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry that this talk is getting to this depressing area, but yeah, I have a lot of depressing stuff to say about it. It's at the end, it's very dangerous. Today, I'm not sure that AI is improving lives. It might be the opposite, and there is no guarantee that it will improve life in the future. It's like it's hard work for us as society to really, first of all, we need to have the awareness of that, of the danger, and then to think about the solutions. I would not count on enterprises and like businesses to make it right. It have to be on the level of countries and politicians, and for them to take care of that, we as a society need to be aware of that and have it on our agenda. Because it is not, I don't think it's going to be solved by itself. On the other hand, you do see that privacy, even though that most people didn't understand fully why privacy is so important, you saw that the laws that at the end countries did have the relevant laws, and they are kind of enforced. So, and now you have the AI Act, which is a good beginning. So I think there is a potential to make sure that AI is actually used for the benefits of people, but it's not trivial at all. It's something that each one of us need to be aware of.
How are companies using AI currently? Do you notice anything happening right now? Is it good? Is it bad? What are your thoughts on the current AI landscape when it comes to companies using it?
What I see so far is for the good. I see companies becoming more efficient and have better products. So for now, I only see good things, like from generative AI. Mostly, you do see some people use it to generate videos that are fake, and sometimes even in a very inappropriate way. Um, but generally, I think for now it's still mainly used for the good. But if you would ask most people 1 or 2 years after the social network started, they would say, "Yeah, it's great. Now I can communicate with more people. I can look for people. I can connect with people that I met 10 years ago and lost connection." So um, I think it takes time until you see the dark side of new technology.
That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because if you look at the internet, social media, and how things have progressed, I'd probably agree that it takes a while for people to use it in other ways that may not be good. And do you find that there are different kinds of approaches with it? So maybe a company that uses AI as a tool, and then companies that essentially are an AI, like it's AI first, and then the company, or then you've got the company that then treats AI as a tool to improve the company.
Yes, yes. So I will elaborate a little bit about my understanding of what AI first is. Um, so you have a lot of products today that do not use AI, and definitely they will use AI in the future because it's just there are just too many benefits of this technology. So many companies like think, okay, this is a new technology. How can I improve my products this way? This is a standard company that use AI. But there are other companies that are AI first, which means we you couldn't have this company, you couldn't have this solution, you couldn't have this product without AI. For example, Google Photos, the ability to search in photos by text, this is an essential part of that. Or ChatGPT, of course. You couldn't have this kind of solution of querying a website with free text and get responses, ask it to do general tasks like we just prompt, just think about the UI. You don't even have buttons, right? It's like almost, it's just like texting. So this is like an AI first solution or an AI first product, and OpenAI, it's an AI first company. It means whenever there is a problem, you think about AI. Even when they started the company, of course, they knew that the founders should be from with AI background, and the first employees have to be with AI background, etc. So Vendict is also an AI first company. Me and my co-founder, we both have a good understanding of AI and security, and we hired the first hires were also AI experts and GRC, which stands for Governance, Risk Management, and Compliance expert. So from day one, the thought of our company was how can we make the most of generative AI for this specific use case of third-party risk management, regulations tracking, etc. So this is about AI first.
It seems like that would play a part in how you would mitigate some of the risks of AI in terms of if it's an AI first, as in the company wouldn't exist without AI, it would stand to reason that they would focus on the AI and making sure that it can do its job right. But then as a tool to improve things, there's still the company elements in there. Like they've still got the company culture, they've still got the staff, they've still got the policies and the procedures in place that AI is there to assist with. It seems like you have to approach it in two very different ways.
I'm not sure I would take it to this area. I think it's more about there are some problems that AI is just the right tool for them, like ChatGPT. You couldn't do it without AI. So if there was a product before ChatGPT that was a chatbot, and you would want to implement this chatbot without AI, it didn't have any chance against ChatGPT because it's just too strong a technology for this use case. So I think that many companies that are not AI first, that have a product that was not built around AI, but was built with standard software development, their first intuition or first thought would be to just add some AI capabilities to the existing solution. They already have solution, they have customers, they cannot change the UI too much. So they will just look for some AI capabilities. For example, one of our product is for security questionnaires. Let's say, maybe I will explain a little bit about the product first. So let's say that Citibank wants to work with Monday.com. They will have to save a lot of sensitive information inside Monday.com, right? And for example, personal information of their customers. They need to make sure that Monday.com will save this information. Okay, so Citibank today they will send a questionnaire with 500 questions to Monday.com. How do you do this? How do you do that? To get explanations about their internals and processes, just to make sure that the information will be kept safe. Now, this is a painful process for both Citibank and Monday.com. One of the modules that we support is the ability to automatically respond to this questionnaire with generative AI. So Monday.com, they already filled out many questionnaires in the past, and also they have a lot of policies, procedures, whatever. They already have all of this text written somewhere, and they just need to extract this text and use it to respond to the new questionnaire that they just got from Citibank. So the way we are solving that is with completely AI. We just use our own generative AI models and pipeline to consume this data, and then use AI in order to respond, to understand the meaning of the text, to understand the new question, and just respond to those questions. There are other companies that are not AI first, that their first solution are not based on AI, and all they can do is just to search. So when they have this new question, they can search the keywords in past questionnaires and then look for the data. And then they just present the data for the customer, and the customer can now construct the new response. So now that there is generative AI, most of them, what they are doing, they just they don't change the core. The core behavior of the product is still the same. They just show you the data and you need to compose the response. But then you have a button to rephrase it, for example. So they use like the basic capabilities of AI. And what companies should do, even if they are not AI first, is to think how can they change the basic experience of the product. Okay, and this is difficult because it means that there is a lot of work they already did, and now they need to stop like throwing away everything they did with standard software and just develop a solution that is based on AI. Because this solution will be better. This technology is much better than just software engineering, and it will only get better. But most companies don't have the mentality or the understanding that this is what they need to do. So you also saw it in other technologies, right? With, for example, with the internet or and other technologies that some companies couldn't, like Blockbuster, they couldn't understand soon enough that, in order to not become obsolete because of Netflix, we need to change the model. It's not every company have the right understanding and maybe courage even. So it's my advice to companies that are not AI first is to really think about dramatic solution of how they can use AI, not just add it as an add-on, but how to change the very basic way that the product is working, so that it will make the best experience that AI can generate.
It sounds like it's actually more helpful to be proactive with this, in that waiting to do this is then going to take longer, and then you'll end up having to fix things later on down the road. But being proactive and taking steps ahead of time can really help. How are some companies able to do that? What kind of steps would you encourage companies to take?
Yeah, this is a difficult question. What I would do if I would run a company that is not AI first, I would I would have a team, dedicated team, to think about, okay, this is the problem. Okay, this is our value proposition. Okay, let's say we are the companies. Let's say that we are a company that enable hotels reservation. Okay, maybe it's the wrong example, but how can we? Let's think that we were just starting the company today, but we already understand what the value that our customers expect from us, right? We have a lot of business knowledge and very good understanding of our customers. Now, how can we use, if we were building a product that is just based on AI, how would this product look like? Okay, and they would actually have a team of AI experts and business experts, and just let them think about or even develop a solution, like an MVP of a solution that will solve this problem just with generative AI without using any technology that was already developed. And then I think organizations will learn a lot from that. It might be a shock for them to see how good this product might be. For example, I can tell you what I did. When we started Vendict a lot before OpenAI, and we developed a lot of proprietary models. So when OpenAI started, I told my research team, okay, for the coming 3 months, you are not allowed to do anything proprietary. You cannot improve our existing solution. All you can do is to do things with OpenAI. And I wanted that because I knew that they will have some instinct inside them to keep working with the existing solutions. They invested a lot of time on that. So psychology-wise, they're like the most convenient thing for them to do is to say, generative AI is not working. My models are better. And by forcing them to really only use generative AI, they became a little bit more neutral. So today, still, most of the pipeline is based on our own technology. because at the end, it is still better for most aspects of what we are doing because it's proprietary and it was developed specifically for this problem. But there are parts of the process that are already based on OpenAI. And in the future, I believe that when OpenAI will and generative AI and large linguistic models in general on the shelf, large linguistic models will become better. I think we will already have the culture of being able to use that.
It's an interesting point that you made there about culture as well, because if you've got something that's not helpful already, then using AI will likely exaggerate it or make it a bit more intense. So, what elements of culture in a company would you say let's sort of go both ways? So let's go unhelpful or ineffective when it comes to implementing AI as well. And then let's go to the other end of what's helpful and what's beneficial when you start to employ AI as well within the company.
So I think that the most important thing in a company is integrity, that people will have the integrity to really be brave. So if I'm going back to the example before, people will need to have enough courage and integrity to say, yes, I worked on this model for 6 months. I was really attached to that. I really loved it. I was proud of that. But now I'm throwing it away because there is something better. Okay, and to really compare what you are doing with what others are doing. This is one aspect. Another aspect is to really respect the other peoples in the organization. Especially you see this problem when you have people from different cultures or different geography. There is I was before Vendict, I was a director in Broadcom, where I was leading large organization, international software organization with large teams in the US, India, China, Bulgaria, and Israel. And there was there is some tendency to think about people that do not share the location of you, that are from different place, to you don't understand them as well as you understand the people from your country, the people that you see face to face. And in many cases, it creates the kind of feeling that, yeah, we are working so hard and we are doing our part perfect. But on the other side, they do not. So, and this is something you need to, I feel all the time that no, this is not the truth. It can't be. It's just about the different culture, the different location. You don't see them, so you don't exactly understand them. And to have this culture of people respecting the other people. People really feel that they can learn from others, and that they should fully understand others in the organization. So this is in general very important as a culture. I'm not sure it's related to AI, but this is something that for me it's number one in terms of organizational culture, to have integrity and to respect the other and think the best about the others.
And what would you say is something that doesn't help when you start to use AI? So, off the top of my head, I'm thinking things like being stubborn, maybe, or not so open to new ideas. That may not translate well when you start to incorporate AI as well. So, what are some of the things that may actually be detrimental to a company if you're using AI in your company as well?
I'm not sure what to answer on that because I don't think that this is specific to AI. it's it's a problem anywhere. AI just at the end it's another tool, right? So I'm not sure that there is a specific culture for AI company that is different from other companies.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because these are the things that would not be great in any company anyway. You know, having people that aren't necessarily open-minded or that, I don't know, they're not willing to embrace new ideas, that sort of thing, that wouldn't be good in any company without AI.
Right. You need to be open-minded, otherwise, regardless the technology, regardless the product, it will just not work. But the way that AI does influence is that it can make organizations that do not have the culture of being open-minded to disappear much faster. Because like if there was no AI or no technology leap, so even a company that is not very open-minded and innovative, they might still have enough customers, enough traction already, enough momentum to keep to survive. But when you have something like AI that enable new companies to get the same product and the same traction much faster, you have to be open-minded and innovative in order to survive.
How do you see the future of AI and companies and trying to do things in the right way? Is there anything that you can speak to in terms of what would things be like in the future if things kept progressing the way that they're progressing?
It's difficult to say because it's more question for people that their expertise is understanding humans and human culture and society. It's less about technology. It's we are currently. I feel that humans are kind of under attack. We are now polarized, and I hope that we will be able to, because one of the things about us being polarized, it means that we cannot have enough strength to fight for what's important for us. Okay, and I think that for now, as humans, we need to make sure that AI is used for the best. We need to make sure that it's not large corporation that influence politicians that generate create the future. Okay, we need to make sure that we are united enough so that we make sure that we as humans and our benefits and our well-being will be the priority of the politicians. And it means, for example, that, okay, how can we make sure that AI is used for the best? How can we make sure that, because if we just leave it with Google and Amazon and the other large technology companies, at the end, their goal is to maximize profit. Okay, not to maximize human well-being. So we need to find the way to empower our politicians to think together. How can they make sure that AI is used for the best? And I'm not sure if it will happen, and we will have this understanding, and the leadership will understand the risk and will work for the benefits of the people. I'm sure we will be able to solve it. But currently, I'm not sure that that would be the case. I don't think that with the current political climate, it's like will be able to stand for what's important.
Well, that is definitely, I guess, if you think about the direction that we're going to take and that we want to take as people, as companies, we need to fix those things, don't we? We need to be able to fix our own issues, our own problems, our own insecurities to then be able to maximize the opportunity. Because it is, as you said, it's if we don't necessarily do that, the problems are potentially going to carry on or get worse once generative AI starts to really get involved and really start to have a hold on industries and people and things of that nature. So I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation, Udi. It's been fantastic, very insightful. For those that are listening that want to learn more about you and Vendict and all the things that you're up to, how can they do that? So it could be your chance to share websites and social media, that sort of thing.
Yeah, just search Vendict at LinkedIn or our website. And of course, you can always contact me. We'll be happy to speak about Vendict with anyone.
Thanks so much for being a guest on the show. Those that are listening, feel free to subscribe, share the show, tell others, and also leave a review wherever you are listening into your podcasts. Udi, it's been great, and I look forward to keeping in touch. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Michael.